Hello, welcome to Cinemando with Kathy and Amit from D54. We are here to talk about Aavesham. And you know why I love Aavesham? Because Fahadh Faasil's in it. Love him. I was a little mad at him because of that last movie he did with Killing Dogs. A little mad at him for a while, but I forgave him. He's back.
No, I wasn't a fan of that movie either, but this movie is on the other end
This
of
is
that.
the
This
Fahadh
movie was
Faasil
something
that we
else.
want. This is what we needed.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh my god.
This was such a fun character he had to play. And yeah, so
Oh,
I saw it, I don't know. Luckily it came like the cinema here, I think on the same day it came out in Kerala. So first day of release it came to Melbourne. I don't know why I didn't see any promotions for it in Melbourne, but apparently it just came, which was awesome. So yeah, as soon as I saw it, booked my tickets because I knew I wanted to see it straight away. I think Fahadh Faasil films for some reason come to Melbourne because this happened a few times now where they've shown Fahadh Faasil's movies in the cinema here. But I mean, going in, I guess just to give some expectations, I don't know, I came in pretty high because one, the director of Romancham, Jithu Madhavan,
one of my favorites. Oh my god, that movie
Romancham.
was so good.
Yeah, so good. And just to see that, now he has like Fahadh Faasil
Yes.
with him as well, and what kind of magic can they create together? That's already a plus point. And everything that they were putting out about this movie looks so much fun. I
Oh
remember,
my
like,
god,
the
the
trailer,
promos were
the
great.
songs, like it's just like this movie is just going to be a good time.
Yep.
It definitely delivered. It definitely delivered.
They done cranked up the energy for sure. And yeah, just seeing, you were talking about the promos. I mean, the promos were like just him unleashed. He was like
Yes.
the glasses and the white wardrobe, and he's like leaping and dancing. And it's funny because you think that would be annoying to see that, and it's like it wasn't. Like he played it. He had a little bit. In this reminded me a little when you watch Nick Cage. You just want to keep seeing him do things because he's so
that's a
unique
great
at doing it.
comparison.
And so when you see Fahadh Faasil being kind of over the top, you love it because he's bringing this special thing he does, and you're like, oh yeah, this is good. You're buying it. It doesn't feel like someone just overacting. It feels like someone being a flamboyant character, and it made sense. Is when it started. It didn't even feel like at first I'm like, is this the right movie? Like, because I have to travel to see these. They never have Malayalam films nearby. So I'm like, am I in the right movie? What is happening? But they just had these 3 kids going off to college. I love movies about kids who go off to college and then they get the shit kicked out of them because they're not cool. So they get beat up by a fraternity or something. So then you're all like, you instantly side with them because I hate jocks at schools. I hate fraternities. I hate the cruelty of it. I hate the hazing. So to me, I was like, oh, someone's going to take them down. And boy, do they.
And there's a culture of that. There's a culture of that in India with the ragging.
Here too.
So especially, terrible. I think in this case, it was more to do with juniors versus seniors. So these guys were juniors getting bullied versus the seniors, and they had to sort of show respect to the seniors just because they're seniors.
Because the only way you'll get any respect is to beat the shit out of them.
And they really took a beating as well.
They did. It was creepy how creepy it was.
It was really bad. Like torture.
They were basically holding them hostage. They were basically keeping them trapped. Like it was this side of illegal what they were doing.
But I guess the one thing that I appreciate about this movie, and I think this is a real strength of this movie, and Jithu Madhavan, the director and writer, basically, is that this movie stood so strong without Fahadh Faasil even entering the fray.
That's right. It did.
It was doing so well without him even. So I knew when he was going to come, it's just going to elevate so much more because it's built out the foundation so well. We have 3 characters. We're going to follow their journey. The storyline seems pretty simple. It feels relatable, because we've all been to college. We've all seen this. We've seen it played out. It's nothing too unfamiliar, but in a good way. But even within amongst all the action, there's still instilled bits of comedy with those 3, I think basically very young or debutante actors. And they were fantastic as well.
They were really good.
They were really good.
They're very distinct characters. And you could feel their friendship. You felt their connection. You cared about them. Like, that's good writing. Good writing, good acting. Because at that point, you feel like there were stakes. You cared about these characters. You wanted them to be okay. And when they meet Fahadh Faasil, you could see why he was tempting to align with. Like, they were like, we need someone on our side who can be our muscle. And they kind of went for it. And when Fahadh Faasil showed up on the screen, theater erupted. It was like, including me. I was like,
yeah. It's awesome.
Oh, he's so very good. Cool. And I love his whole look.
I was gonna say like his look was so good, but like I don't know if anyone else I don't know if anyone else can actually do like Nick Cage is actually a good comparison. Maybe he's the only one of something that would be this wild. Because the thing is with Fahadh Faasil, I've always seen like he's an actor that has the expressions in his eyes and his face.
Yes, those eyes. Oh my god.
His physical acting is so good as well. From what early on, from what I've seen
Yeah.
from his acting, he's such a good physical actor, and he
Yeah.
brings all that together in one neat,
Mhm.
tightly packed, package here with his
Yeah.
performance, because it's everything. It's
Yeah.
He's over the top with his facial expressions, with what
Mhm.
he's saying, with what he's doing, but also just the way he's sort of holding himself back from fighting people, pointing at people. No, no, you know, you,
Exactly.
like he's basically instructing
Yes.
people to kill for him until the end,
Mhm.
which is just a whole other epic,
Yes.
great scene.
And at that point, I
Ah,
was thinking maybe he's all a facade. Maybe he's a fraud because I was thinking maybe
yeah,
he's
yeah,
just
yeah,
built up this reputation, but everyone else is doing all the dirty work. They're doing the fighting, they're doing the
right.
shooting, they're doing, and he just kind of sits back and points, and you think, oh, he can't do it. Well, he can.
Yeah,
Spoilers. He does a great
yeah,
job
yeah.
at the end. He has to get
He does
involved,
a great job.
and that was awesome. And I like how just thematically he was in pure white, and I like when they showed his
Yes,
closet
yes,
and it
yes,
was all
yes.
white shirts and white pants. There's no color. It's all white,
No, 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 no. Oh
and
no,
he is a
there was a lot of gold.
he had one there's the gold jewelry and the white
Yes,
clothes. That's what he wore,
yep,
and his glasses that were awesome. So I love
correct.
how he stood out, and then way it made him really pop in every scene because he was this white vision amongst
Correct.
everyone else. So you always knew exactly where he was, what he was doing. It sort of gave him this purity, this sort of like he
Yeah.
was sort of the guru, the cult guy at
Mhm.
the front of it. So they did a great job just design wise because he popped in every scene. Wherever he was, you knew exactly what
Yeah.
was happening.
Great
So
choice in
smart.
costume. Like he
So
was just
good.
he was highlighted in every scene, not just through his performance, but also just
Yeah.
through like physically, just the way he
Yeah.
was dressed as well. He was center stage, which he should be. But I
Mhm.
mean, I think just as much as sort of he performed, this other guy, man, what's his name? Amban, Sajin Gopu, who plays
Oh
him.
yeah, I'm on. Yeah.
He was so good.
I loved him too.
His like dedication and love for
Oh, he was like,
manga
"I'll take
was
care of
just,
it."
yeah, yeah.
It was
He's
so
like a
cute.
sign for another whipping. Like it does.
It was so fun. And when they
Oh,
were
it was so
driving
good.
the
The
car
dynamic.
around, like they have this absurd
Yes,
little
yes, yes.
car and then they're being all
Uh-huh.
weird about and so Fahadh Faasil was having to drive it and all the doors are coming off. And that to me,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
got scary at the end because again, pointing to a good writer and good acting is that you cared about these people. You knew who the people were.
Yeah, yeah,
You knew
yeah.
what their deal was. And so they have this older dude who comes out and he's a great fighter. He's like in his 70s or 80s or something. He's like this
Uh-huh.
big fighter.
Yes, yes.
So
Oh, that
Fafos
was
is
nice.
driving
Yeah.
this car around and the doors are coming off and they're all like, and so people were getting pulled out and they have everybody has knives and you're just like, oh my God, this is out of control. And you're
Uh-huh.
caring, like you're worried. Like I was worried about all these people.
Yes.
Like, oh no, what's
Yes.
gonna happen? And the kids in the back
No.
seat are just like, "Wah!" Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
way in over their depth. They had no idea. And it was like
It's a
classic,
great
like,
point.
he'll help us. It'll be fine. We'll get him to help us and then we'll be done. They don't realize you're never done. It's never done.
Mhm.
No, you
No,
get
no,
to
no.
now join the club and also kill people with him. And they
Yeah.
didn't realize that was the deal, which
Uh-huh.
I
That's how
also
it
love.
works.
Uh,
Yeah, it's a great point because even with his action sequence, what makes them more than just I guess visually stunning or like a
yeah,
great experience watching them is that there is actually what you're mentioning, that great
yeah,
sense of tension in
mhm,
every sort of fight scene. So there's always some kind
yeah,
of purpose to them. Like who's gonna die in the situation? Is someone gonna die? Are
exactly.
we gonna lose one of the key members?
Yeah.
Even the characters they didn't even flesh out. Like they even felt like you connected with them. Like even the two,
Yeah.
like I guess the two Nepalese guys or the two ninjas, like one of them and one of
Oh,
the
yeah,
brothers
right.
gets lost,
Yep.
and they're just in the car, and then the other brother just jumps out. You're like, oh my god, like I hope they get him back. Like this is a character that might not
Yeah.
have any lines, but
No.
yet I was still like, you guys better go get him. Like I
He's
want him
like,
back.
"He's gonna get killed, he's just a little guy."
Yeah.
I know, it's like, "Get that guy." I know, it was a really well done, and I think part of it is, like, because the director is so in control of the material, you feel the stakes, you know that when people get hurt, it's gonna matter, and that is the key, because if you just have violence for violence sake and no one's really getting hurt and you
Yeah.
don't care about the people getting hurt, it's
It's
just
just generic.
noise. And so
Yeah.
they you cared about these characters. And also because they did bring a sense of humor to a lot of it.
Oh, a
It's
lot of
like
it. Yeah.
so much and part of it is I think it is due to Fossil because he has that light in his eyes. So when he's even being a bad guy, like kinda yelling and screaming, they shout out orders, there's sort of this little wink. And he's so
Hmm.
good at that.
Yeah.
So good at the little, "Yeah, I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
you to kill someone, but I'll also be your friend and it'll be okay."
Uh-huh.
I don't know, he's got
He's
such a
really good at
great
that.
skill.
No, he's really
So
good at
good.
that, and that is actually probably one of my favorite sequences from a storyline point of view was when the boys have figured out what they're in and what mess they've got themselves into.
Yes. I was like,
Basically, is like, and then they're like, "What are we trapped now? We can't get out," and they literally leave. They
We're
try and
just gonna go
escape.
hide for a while. He'll
Yeah,
forget
yeah.
about us.
And he just keeps calling nonstop. Like he turns his phone, like he's like the main, I think Bibi is his name. One of the
Yes. Yes.
boys. He has his phone turned off essentially,
Yep.
and then it just turns it off. He turns it on randomly after a few days, and he just sees a call from Ranga. It's like, what the heck? This guy's been calling me nonstop. Like,
I know it's like a bunch of texts. Ranga, ranga, ranga,
yeah,
ranga,
yeah,
ranga,
yeah.
ranga. Oh my god, it was so good.
It's so
Oh,
he was so unhinged in so many ways. That's
mm.
this Ranga character. He's gonna be one of my favorite characters. I think that I can
Oh, he's so
think of.
funny.
And
I mean, I
yeah,
don't
that's
wanna
other.
watch it again just to see him do his
Yes,
thing, which is how I feel about
definitely.
Nick Cage movies, and they have that great
Yeah.
scene, that sort of cut loose scene where he's in a town, he
Oh my
just
god,
starts
that
dancing,
scene.
and it's the
That's
funniest. I mean, people were rolling on the floor in the theater, they were
yeah.
dying, and he was just, like,
I
having
couldn't
such a good
believe it.
time and just dancing with the towel. He's all, "Whoop, whoop," whipping it around. Oh my god, it was the funniest thing. I mean, it sounds like when we
Funny.
talk about it, it sounds like it's gonna be silly, but it's silly,
No,
but in a
he makes it
very
work.
well staged, like, you know, edgy. Like, it was funny, but it was
Uh-huh.
also scary because 'cause you're like, "This is a guy who's gonna lose his temper at the drop of a hat." You're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we're all having fun, are we?" Like, it's just
Yeah,
this kinda
yeah,
like,
yeah. That's
So you
iconic.
never knew what he was gonna do. It was just, so unexpected, but, I
I
just thought
mean,
this so much fun.
one of the things that cracked me up like so much was the Instagram stuff. Like he's
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
become like an Instagram celebrity or something like that, and he has a line something like nobody even likes my videos anymore. I was like, oh my,
That was so
this is
funny.
important to you when you're like in the
I
middle
know,
of
this
like
is
high
what
stake murders.
their stakes. Look at this, I only got 1 like. I was like, so
Yeah,
funny. It was so funny. That was really good, and
yeah.
and also it's that sort of thing that we all learn this lesson. It happens in movies where someone comes in and they are your friend immediately, and they're super
Yes.
generous, and they're gonna show you the life, and they're gonna take you places and show you these amazing great parties and always be suspicious because
Yeah.
the piper will be due. And so I love that he befriended them so easily. Like,
So quickly.
they just fell for it. They were
And
like, "Yeah,
even the way that happened, like like what like in the toilet cubicle, like
yeah,
that's where
yeah,
they
that was so weird."
sort of met there for the cigarette, and he's like, "Remember me? I like you got I got some light off you from the cigarette."
It was
that's
so funny.
that's sort of the basis. There's
The
so much to like about
absurdity.
the movie.
Oh, it was just so
That whole
good.
scene in that bottle shop, or that I guess that not bottle shop, it was like a pub, I guess, or like a bar.
Yeah,
Um, and they had that scene where like they're trying to find the owner, they're trying to find like the guru or whoever it is, like the
yep.
big don, and they're
Mm,
sitting right next to him, and they just all turn around and they just point towards him at that scene.
that was so
Um,
good.
that was very very good.
So fun. And, everything was shot in a very energetic, cinematic
Yes.
way. Like, it wasn't a static sort of scene setup. Like, it was very fluid. I feel like this guy is like, this is only his second movie. Is that right? Ramashan
Yeah,
and this. I mean, that's where you're just like, how are these guys so accomplished right out of the gate? Like, their first and
it's
second movie
ridiculous,
both
man.
totally nail it. And he was so good with Ramashan that he got Fossil in his second movie. His
I know.
second movie. Oh my god.
It's crazy because I think
It's
so.
insanity.
Just from, I guess, just to give an update on how this is going in the box office, it is actually
Yeah.
so it's the seventh highest grossing Malayalam film of all time already, and
Whoa.
I can't imagine how far. I don't know how far Romanchan is in that list, but it must be pretty
Oh,
high up there as
it
well
must
because
be.
that was a big sensation too. So yeah, he's already got two movies that have been big blockbuster hits. I
And I
mean,
love them
this movie,
both. I mean, both of
yeah,
his movies I love and
I
remember,
love
and
them. Yeah,
I remember when Ramashan was coming out, and I'm looking at it going, "Goofy guys, it's gonna be a seance movie." I did not expect it to be good. Blown away.
and
Like,
I'm
"Whoa."
blown
Like,
away.
because I see a lot of horror movies, and I was like, "This is amazing." It's like
Yeah, I know.
everything about it. And again,
Right.
just great performances, great script. He knew where to put the camera when there's groups of people, so it's not confusing and everybody gets their moment to shine. Like, that's a skill. It's like it doesn't just
No,
happen. Everything is thought out. So just really well
he's
staged and great tech in this movie also.
yeah,
Just
and just
flawless.
sort of him as sort of a director and writer, I think is just he's obviously shown that he can work with a lot of different characters and give
Yeah.
them all their own presence and their own shine in some
Yeah.
different way. Because he did
Yeah.
that in Romanchan. Romanchan
Yes.
essentially, Romanchan was even wilder because while it did have this guy Sajin Gopu and it had Shobin Shahir, but a lot of the
Right.
actors in that movie were like not even like full time actors. I think they were like dancers and different kind of like
Yeah.
performers in some way. So they were like just debuting at times, and every single character had something distinct about them in Romancham,
Okay.
in some different way. Which I just think like this guy gives time to each character. He can make a character shine for a small moment, and
Yeah.
that's enough. And he did that again
Yeah.
here with like
Yeah.
despite the fact these three boys were there, they all felt individual in some way.
Yeah, they
Like you
did.
had sort of Bibi, who's kind of like the I guess the mother's boy because he always gets
Yeah.
the calls from the mother.
Yeah.
You have
So
one of them who sort of, I think his name Shantan. He was the one that was kind of like a bit edgy, like the one that wants
yeah.
to push his
He
boundaries
wanted to get in
a little
trouble.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like he was kind of like the most hardened, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you had the other one, Aju, who really could not stand the fact that they got bullied. So they all had something distinct about them. And it's like,
Yeah.
wow, these are not just three generic boys going up, as a group. They all have something about them, and they all add their own presence and
Yeah.
their own characters throughout. Plus all the other side characters with Ranga's gang, Ranga himself being the highlight. But
Yeah.
then you have what's it called, Amban as well, who has
Yeah.
such a wild character. The old man fighting,
Mhm.
the other sort of people around them as well. Like there's he has a way of building out characters in a very
Yeah.
short time really
Yeah.
well. So I'm
He
blown
does.
away by this character. He's
I
really
know.
doing something really special.
Really good. And you felt like the boys had a history, like you felt like they had a background.
Yes.
It wasn't just like, here's me, this is what I am. I'm an archetype. You felt like it was lived
No.
in character. So,
Correct.
it's hard to hold your own against Fahadh Faasil, and they did. That's
They
massive.
did.
It's like,
Correct.
it's like, how do
Correct.
you stay in the same scene with Fahadh Faasil and actually get any attention? I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
It's
huge,
fantastic.
huge entertaining movie. I just loved it. I can't say enough good things about it. I know we're kind of raving about it. I mean, I can't really think of anything I didn't like. I mean, it didn't have any animal violence. That was good. They didn't have any.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
had
No, it's
the
pretty.
disturbing violence with the fraternity was necessary. That
Yeah,
was
I mean,
that
helped
needed that
it
for
helped to
space.
build that emotional connection
Did.
with the
And then
three
the
characters and
big
sympathize.
battle at the end when it built up felt genuinely scary. Like, that was like, "Whoa, what is gonna happen?" Like,
Yeah,
you felt like, "Oh, this is not good." So, there was always, like,
definitely.
a level of suspense that felt genuine. So, yeah, let's give him
Yeah, no,
that.
I don't really have too much I can really fault with this movie either. I mean,
Mm,
just from a technical point of view, it's fantastic. The
yeah.
music was so good.
So good.
Um, I think that point when they promoted that song Jara,
Yeah,
that we had reacted to a while ago, but like when
yeah,
that came into the movie, I was like, this is such good timing because I love it when the songs like give us some purpose because we see them
yeah,
individually and we're like, okay, it's a nice song, but then when we see the movie, it's like, wow, this actually makes
yes, that's
so much
right.
more of an impact.
It
Because
was
when
a
that
big
song came,
scene.
I was like, yeah, I was like, well, okay, these guys are, they sort of have the swagger now. They
That's
sort of have
right.
the confidence after sort of joining,
So
and
funny.
teaching the seniors a lesson. So it made such
Right.
an impact. So the performance was out of this world. The only thing that I could say maybe is if you're
Mhm.
looking for something that has a really deep and complex story, this movie's not going to give you that. It's not. The story is
No.
pretty simple, but I think that works to his advantage because it's more about performances and experience. So you're not going to get bogged down in the sort of detail of the story and things like that. It's more about
Mhm.
going in for a good time, and that's what this movie accomplishes really well. But
Yep.
I guess if that's one thing, if you're looking for something really complex or you like movies that have a lot of detail in them, then this movie is not going to be there for you. But it didn't advertise itself as that. It
Hmm.
didn't. You shouldn't expect that
Yeah.
coming in
You
because that's
got
what
as
the
much
trailer
as you
showed.
wanted, what it was supposed to be. I mean, it's supposed to be a good time, not too serious. I guess my only complaint was, there were no real female, not any really deep female
Yeah,
characters. I feel like we could have used a couple more of those. It's like, that's always
it's
my
true.
complaint, though. People are probably tired of hearing me say it, but that
No,
that
it's
would
true.
have been, I think, nice to
This
hear,
is
see a little more of that.
second movie, and that's happened again. I guess Roman
Yeah,
Chan also had the same issue. I think so. That is
yeah,
a valid point. Maybe he's just not explored that because I mean, this does have a lot of commonalities with Roman Chan.
yeah,
So I think
yeah.
he
It
did
does.
sort of he did sort of stay in his comfort zone in some ways. I
Does.
feel like not in a bad. It's a second movie for
No,
Christ's
no.
sake. Like
Oh my God, he's got a long
I'm
career
not
ahead of
gonna
him.
exactly. I'm not gonna get him to change his style up straight away. But I think further on we might see him explore other kind of aspects as well to just mature
Yeah,
him as a director and writer.
exactly.
But yeah, that's sort of one thing, which is
That's
a legit.
quibbling. We're
Yeah,
trying to find something wrong with it. We're not even saying that
correct.
that bothered us at the
No,
time. This is the only thing that we're saying. It could have been better if we did that, but
it's
it did not
high
ruin the movie at all.
high level nitpicking. Like it's yeah, it was
Level nitpicking.
yeah.
We
Because
are
there's been
turning
a
on the
lot of.
volume on the nitpicking on that one.
I mean, this movie has been kind of crazy for like Malayalam movies, but this honestly might go down as maybe my favorite. It goes up
Wow.
there. I mean, so what? Adu Jivatam is definitely really good. The Goat
Yeah,
Life that was really good. Brahma
yeah,
Yugam was really good.
yeah,
With Mamuti.
yep,
I think those two, along with Aavesham, are probably going to be my favorite so far. I think those ones
yeah,
are the ones that are going to stick in my bracket to be like, yep, that's the
yeah,
exceptional bracket. I
yeah,
don't know how to
yeah.
differentiate between those three. They're all sort of good in their own unique ways. So,
That's a
there's not
good
really a
idea for a
comparison.
show. We should, like, do a list of the
That's not
favorite
bad.
Malayalam films. This is good.
That's
Kind of
actually not a bad idea
that's
considering
not a
how
bad
the year's
idea.
been going so far.
I
Yeah,
know.
that's a
So
great one.
many. So many good ones.
Yep, it's
So
been hitting me.
anyway, so let us know what you guys think. Did you see this movie? You know, what's your favorite Fahadh Faasil film? Did you like Ramashan? All of these comments I'm interested in. I would like to hear from all of you about that. Because I mean, obviously we didn't have a lot of negative things to say about this movie. If you have anything, don't bother. But
Yeah.
but no, we do love to hear. We love to talk to you guys about the movies. I love to hear your comments. So make sure you comment and make sure to subscribe to D54 and Cinemando because we are back and forth. We just did another Malayalam film on this channel, so you have to go see what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go
Will
check.
please though.
But we always bounce back and forth, so make sure you check us both out. And Melanie also, who's not for this review, but is in many of them. Get them Pardaisy
Great.
reviews. All right.
Mhm.
Talk to you guys later.
So yeah, bye.
Bye.